I'm once again watching Ironheart, a 2025 miniseries from Disney Marvel, so it's once again time for me to make this face. Ironheart is the story of Riri Williams, a young engineering genius, at least that's what the show keeps on telling me she is, who in the comics Marvel want to make raunchy covers for despite being something like 13 years old, and really, nobody at the Marvel offices asked, "Are you sure we should be doing raunchy pics of a 13-year-old character?" Nobody at all. Marvel seems to have completely lost what made it popular in the first place, and not to be too rude, I think a lot of the appeal of the original Avengers was attractiveness. They didn't do this shot of Chris Evans by accident, did they? With his shirt off and all oiled up. They did it because it made women melt. They didn't do this shot of Black Widow by accident, did they? Most of the cast look like models. Now, I've been looking at the leading lady in Ironheart, and yeah, she reminded me of someone from her facial structure, but I couldn't quite place who it was. The best I could come up with was that she looks like if Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch had a child with Flavor Flav. And it doesn't matter how many crop tops you put the female lead in, it isn't helping. The most feminine member of the cast is the guy from RuPaul's Drag Race. The most masculine is one of the female gang members. So, standard Disney production in 2025, and it occurs to me that the series may have been better received if it had been led instead by Jessica Lucas. Just saying, because the woman is like human Viagra, and is a better actress than the lead in this. Alternatively, they could have written a story without massive holes in it. The female lead in this series frankly isn't a great actress, and she's essentially the MCU's replacement for Robert Downey Jr. She was in 2 things before she got cast in the MCU, and I don't understand why this keeps on happening. Why this woman? It's not like she's even that young, she's 27. Not 19 and straight out of acting school. She's not one for the future in a Hollywood that tends to drop women when they hit 30. And this series cost a reported $150 million to make for 6 episodes. Led by a woman who's barely acted before. It may seem like a blessing for her to get this job, but only if she can get the job done. If not, she's the actress that led a series that bombed. Brace yourself, this is episode 2 of Ironheart. If you saw episode 1, it should come as no surprise that she's going to commit a load more crimes and be a horrible person, and it seems the series is not getting much love. The rating on IMDb is dropping like a stone. It's really polarising, and a lot of people are giving it either a 1 out of 10 or a 10. And in truth, I don't think it's either of those things. I'd maybe put it at a 3 or possibly a 4 if I got struck by lightning and found myself in a good mood. This series is getting YouTube thumbnails from far larger creators than me, calling it the worst series Marvel has ever done. And do I think that's true? Well, no. Not in a world where Disney's Echo exists. I couldn't even finish watching that. So far I also think Ironheart is better than She-Hulk Attorney at Law, but that could change if it gets worse towards the end or if the female lead starts twerking. The show does have a few redeeming features. In episode 2 we find out that Riri likes Alanis Morissette, and that's good, because at least that means the character is not a total cliche. They did make her the daughter of a single mother, and I was picturing her favourite song to be Pound Town. I was thinking, well, this could be worse. Then she started singing and I changed my mind. The other thing I liked was during a fight sequence in episode 2 they played the song Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan. I don't mind that, it worked okay in the scene as a juxtaposition for the fight, but it has no relevance to what's going on in the scene. The whole series feels like the music was just thrown in at random because someone liked it instead of trying to create a theme for the show. Another issue is that this song is from 1983 and it doesn't really ground the series in the now. With Star Wars it had music that belonged only to Star Wars, and it created a distinct moment in time. The music and the film complemented each other, but what is the current generation's great piece of cinema or music? It's like we're stuck in a cultural cul-de-sac. Ironheart is kind of just a relaunch of Iron Man again, a character that first appeared in comics in 1963 and being accompanied by a song from 1983. Is that what we have for creativity now? Just relaunching things like Superman every 5 years for the rest of time? Where are the new stories? Okay, asking for that in 2025 may have been a mistake because you end up with romantic fiction about a woman that wants to do a Minotaur. I also noticed for the first time that Ain't Nobody is a double negative. So Shaka Khan was really saying that everybody else loved her better. I'm still trying to soldier through Ironheart, and I was struggling to decide between if the lead character was a corrupt thief or a half-wit in episode 1. And on thinking about it more, like arriving in a hotel room to find Scarlett Johansson and Jessica Lucas, why not both? And I think this scene from episode 1 demonstrates that it is both, because the series hero Riri Williams has been offered a job by a criminal gang in this scene. The gang trapped her in a lift filled up with poison gas that she either had to escape from as her job interview, or maybe she had to break into a box on the floor in the trailer. I'm not even sure which is true, but she did it. And the leader then offers her a job. And he straight up tells her that what they do is not legal. It will involve theft, extortion and breaking and entering, and she says yes anyway, because she's very money hungry and needs the money to make an Iron Man suit. So the show is trying to make me believe that the only way Riri could think of to make money was theft. And this is despite the fact that she somehow was able to invent a solar panel that generates electricity at night. It generates enough electricity that can keep an armoured suit hovering in the air with thrusters and still recharge the suit. Or is that just common technology now? Does everyone have it? I have no idea. I have no idea what the world of the MCU is even supposed to be at this point. But Riri accepts the job on the condition that nobody gets hurt during the robberies. And sorry, no. If you're doing a theft, breaking and entering an extortion racket, at some point someone is going to get hurt. Someone is going to resist and you will have to use force. But she accepts the assurance that nobody is going to get hurt from the gang of guys that just trapped her in a lift that was filled with poison gas. A test which makes no sense in the first place because the gang actually want her to work in the armoured suit, so they're testing something that's completely unrelated to the job they actually want doing. And when she goes to meet the gang for her first job with them, the leader gives some crude exposition about the members of the gang for the audience. This person is the gang's hacker. These two are illegal street fighters. This woman, we're told, blows things up. And this guy is the recruiter, who's also very handy with knives. And at no point does the genius Riri ask, if nobody's going to get hurt, why exactly do they need street fighters? Why do they need someone who blows things up and someone who's good with knives? The writing in the show is ass. Last episode, the criminal gang handed Riri a stack of bills, and it seems that was enough in one night to go and buy the artificial intelligence from someone off camera that, according to this very show in episode 1, costs millions of dollars. And if she's a genius, I have no idea why she didn't write her own AI in the first place. Because unless the guy in the cape just handed her a wad of $10,000 bills, I don't think that's going to be millions of dollars he just gave her. They've hired Riri for this job that will require her to use the armoured suit that isn't even working, so Riri has to go and commit several more crimes in order to fix the suit so she can go and commit another crime in it. Her AI finds a man who has a collection of parts that she wants to fix her suit. These parts are not legal, so she goes to the man and threatens to turn him into the FBI if he doesn't give her what she wants, and he then bursts into tears. She menaces him with a threatening iron suit in order to make him give her the parts. These are the parts for the iron suit that isn't working, and that's why she needs the parts. Do you see the problem? She has nothing to threaten him with. He can call the cops and have her arrested because the parts are not even there in his house. He has them hidden in a bunker miles away. But he complies anyway, even though it makes no sense. The writing in this show is ass. Disney, I'm embarrassed for you after watching this show. Apart from getting expelled from MIT, Riri never faces any consequences for her actions. She stole from a university in episode 1 in front of multiple witnesses. Where are the police knocking on her door for that? She then flies off to commit another crime and gets into trouble when the AI loads itself onto her suit and it distracts her. So hang on. If she can fly the suit perfectly fine without the AI, what the hell did she need the AI for? The AI nearly lands her in the morgue twice during this episode. Once when it distracts her and she flies into a wall, and a second time when she decides to lift her mask and celebrate the crime she just did. Freeze! In the middle of the street. She then gets stopped by a guard, the suit locks up and the mask won't come down, and she doesn't have the wit to put her arm in front of her face. She finally smells a rat that the gang who trapped her in a lift filled with poison gas, a gang that contains street fighters and someone who blows things up and an expert with a knife, may not be entirely non-violent when one of them shoots the guard right in front of her. Them being violent then comes as a real shock to Riri, and in this episode their heist, well, they're going to extort a woman that owns a tunnel. Her company set up some kind of fast transport system in a tunnel under the city, so they're going to rob her. And did this woman who they're going to rob do anything wrong or anything to deserve it? In a word, no.
Wait, robbing the Sheila Zarate?
You mean Sheila, I don't care if my tunnels destroy entire communities if it makes me rich? Zarate?
You're right, screw her.
No, she didn't. The show didn't demonstrate her destroying communities. The characters didn't even claim she did. They just think she doesn't care about something that they don't care about either. It's just an excuse to rob her, and a weak one, because they aren't doing anything to help the community either, in fact quite the opposite. The woman who owns the tunnel provides a service that people want, is actually useful, and presumably this service provides jobs for people as well. The show's writers just repeatedly tell on themselves as being a complete moral vacuum. It has nothing to do with morality, it has to do with envy and greed and laziness. They write a character who's supposed to be the greatest inventor of her generation, and then she never invents anything. She just steals it. So they cause the tunnel system to break down in order to extort the woman who owns it, and what they ask for in order to return power to the tunnel system is idiotic, because they want signed contracts giving them stock in the company. Like any contract would hold up under law anyway if it was signed under duress, and they want that to all be anonymous. But they also want the whole gang put on the payroll of the company under six-figure contracts. In order to do that, they'd have to give their names to the company that they just extorted, and hope that the company don't just call the police.